Oh, how have you been, mate? The family good?
Yeah, all good, pal. Obviously, just had a nice Christmas and that, chilled out. Back into training now.
How was camp, mate, before we crack on?
Oh yeah, it was nice to get some sun in January, and we train twice a day. We normally only train once a day on field, but we had obviously you don't really care when you're in the sun, so we had a little bit of social time together and went out to see Malaga City. So yeah, it was a really good week.
Yeah, to come back to this weather as well, freezing.
Yeah, it is. I've been so we're all like, now we've gone from sun to snow.
That's it, mate. So, before we get stuck into your rugby story, mate, where was home for you and who lived at home with you as a kid?
So I'm from Oldham. Me, I live in Saddleworth.
Right.
I've lived with my mum, dad, and sister. Sister's moved out now, so I'm just living with mum and dad now, waiting to hopefully buy a house uh, in a few months.
Right. So, where did that competitiveness come from, mate? Was if it's just you and your sister, where did you get that from?
Probably, I don't know. I think I just obviously my dad used to play rugby, so I think he kind of got it. He kind of instilled it into me, like
Yeah.
to be competitive and just. I think I was competitive at school. Anything I did, kind of thing, football, basketball. I was kind of like a sporty kid, so I did everything kind of. So I've always had that like competitive nature, inside me since a young age.
You weren't one of them kids that was good at everything, mate, was you?
No, there was some cricket and things with the bat. I didn't want the best at, but basketball,
Yeah.
football, I could kind of decent at.
Right, mate. So, how was you introduced to rugby and where was it?
So I was introduced to rugby, obviously through my dad.
Yeah.
Uh, I went down to the Waterhead first. Didn't enjoy rugby. I was only young, I was 5. I was just running around the pitch playing with grass more than trying to join in. So Dad brought me back and had another year out, and then a few of my mates at school started at St Anne's. So
Right.
I think it was better that I knew someone, kind of thing, and went down to St Anne's
Yeah.
and just played at St Anne's till about 15, 16.
Right, right. So, at junior school, was you playing? Was there any sort of like town team stuff for your Ollie?
There was like town team training, but
Yeah.
there was no any games kind of thing. We didn't
Right.
really play in primary school at all, rugby. But when we got to secondary school, that's we started playing there.
Okay, mate. So, how was the transition into high school then? With it just being club rugby for you, did most of your mates go to the same school?
Yeah, a lot of my friends went to the same primary school as me, and we all went up to secondary school. But I kind of a lot of them played football, so there was only me
Yeah.
and my lad who played rugby, and then we kind of just drifted apart through secondary school.
Right.
Weren't as close anymore. I got different mates, he got different mates. So, but a
Yeah.
lot of my new mates that I went to secondary school with, a lot of them played rugby for Waterhead. So it was kind of
Okay.
it was always the best in we had like an Oldham Cup kind of thing at Saddleworth, and we won it 5 years
Yeah.
on the trot. There were no other kind of school with rugby lads. There was a few, like one or two in every other school, but we had like a good 10, 11 rugby lads. So
Okay. So it's a good call, isn't it? So was there ever a time you had to choose between football and rugby, Ollie, or was there never really a choice there for you?
yeah, there was. I used to play football and rugby, and then
Yeah.
there was a time I had to say to football that I don't have the time to do this anymore, like kind of thing, which was sad because I did enjoy playing football. I did enjoy
Yeah.
playing football, but no, it was always going to be rugby for me, kind of thing. That was always my first,
And
first sport.
is this where your kicking game probably better than a lot if you played the multi sports and the ball handling's good through the basketball and that, do you think, mate?
Possibly, yeah. I think I've always been kicking a ball around since I was younger, football or rugby, and then it's getting skills from different kind of sports. I think definitely helps. I think that's what I'd probably advise other kids to do. Just have a go at loads of different sports, and you'll get core skills or something from every sport that'll obviously link in with rugby. So yeah, I'd probably say like the basketball and football kind of did help my rugby.
Right. Yeah, no, it's a lot of lads now. So how old are you, mate?
I'm 24 now. Just gone 24.
Right, I'm a fair bit older than you. I'm like 33, but back when I was playing, weren't really encouraged. You know, the multi-sport thing. It was like pick one discipline, stick with it, see where you can go. Where now a lot of the younger lads, like yourself, like they're open to playing anything and everything, and
Yeah.
do right up until like scholarship probably.
Yeah. I think it got me out of school a little bit, so I think that's why I tried to do as many sports as possible.
Yeah, bit of an early dart, mate, or an away trip somewhere. So, what code was high school? Did you play both codes, mate, or was it just rugby league?
Our school just played rugby league, but I did play rugby union. That was like a town team thing, and a guy come and asked our amateur side if a few of us would go and play for Oldham in the town team thing. So I think there were about 7 or 8 of us went and played rugby union in this tournament, and we're all running around like headless chickens kind of thing. But we was getting stuck in like what everyone else wasn't expecting us to, because we didn't know what we were doing. But we scored some good tries because we played like the rugby league style. But it was we just didn't get the grip of. But it was good to play the other sport. Yeah.
Yeah. The thing with rugby, mate, is what listeners and viewers might not totally get, because they're either one or the other, aren't they, these days? But the basics of the game are the same, aren't they? You've got to make your tackles.
Make your tackles.
You've got to play in the right area and that. Yeah. So where would you have played in rugby league growing up? Was you always a half?
Yeah, I've played hooker and I've played scrum half. It's about.
And where did you play when you played union, mate?
Like fly half, yeah. Like first receiver.
Yeah. Was there anything you noticed different about the game? Did you get more time in one than the other, or?
Yeah, I think there's a lot more, I won't say standing around, but he had a lot more time to kind of get your breath back, kind of rugby, and there's a lot more standing. And I felt like the rugby league lads that played the game against rugby union lads, I feel like our skill, like core skill, was a little bit better when we were on that day. And then obviously rugby league just a little bit quicker, but it's two good sports. And same shape ball in it, so.
Well, that's it, isn't it? Like we said, the principles are virtually the same, mate, aren't they? Other than the set piece, which you touched on. If you're not a lad that grew up with rugby union, that's where you get found out a little bit, and the little intricacies, mate.
Yeah.
Right. So, what was the difference like between your club and your school rugby, Ollie? Was there much difference, standard wise?
Yeah. For us, obviously, we had a full rugby kind of players playing for the team. We had a few footballers on the wings and stuff, but it was when we played other schools, like we were head and shoulders better than everyone else because we had rugby players. But that was probably the difference than club level, because when you're playing club level, both teams play rugby, don't they? So it was definitely playing other schools. They were footballers. They were just, you could tell that we were all rugby players. So that's probably why we won it 5 years on the trot.
Yeah, no national cups are out, mate, for you to challenge yourselves in.
We always entered it. We always went and played a side at Wigan and at Warren, and they just had 17 rugby players. Like we had 10, 12. We had a couple of football. That's where we got found out, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So we always entered them, but we didn't really get much past the first round.
So as a young lad, mate, in the position you were playing in, which is like you're an organiser, mate, aren't you? When you're playing against full rugby schools, so to say, and say you've got like a couple of wingers out of football on the wing or filling in where they have to, how do you generate the positivity for them lads to come in and help something happen, or is it tricky at that age to get your head around that?
Kind of tried to go with the approach of just to keep them calm and just enjoy it. Like I think I kind of said to them, you're not going to get everything, you're going to make mistakes, but like I wouldn't say I was too serious about school because when I knew when we were going to play against Wigan sides that we probably weren't going to win, but it was good to obviously my mates before played like they were my close friends playing with us. So I think that's probably why they come and played on the team because we were all kind of close mates. So it was just about kind of enjoying it, keep calm, and if you make a mistake, who cares? Like if they score, who cares? It's as long as you enjoy it and we have a dig. It's all that I could ask for.
Yeah, so school-wise, you were happy with that, mate, just coming up and being counted for. It was your club rugby that was the more serious stuff for you, mate, yeah.
Yeah.
So when you're at your club rugby, mate, what sides do you look forward to most playing, and is there anyone you remember standing out as a kid?
When I was growing up, I think there's a... I used to always play. We used to always have good games against Blackbrook Royals. They're called from St Helens.
Yeah,
they had a lot of like Craig Mullen. He's just retired. Josh Ganson always used to be good. Jack Wells for Salford used to play Folly Lane. That were always kind of a good game. And play
were they good your age, mate? Yeah,
Folly Lane, they were always similar to us, kind of thing. We were in League One. We won League One, went to the Premiership, and I think they come up the year after. And then we used to play like Widnes Moorfield. That was always a good game. They had like Ollie Ashall, who plays at Toulouse now.
Yeah.
Couple of good players still playing, yeah.
Yeah. So is there any rep stuff through school, mate?
Yeah, I played for England under-16s, so like the schoolboys.
Yeah.
We had played 2 games against France. And I got, it's through like the Easter period kind of thing. But the schools around here, we didn't break up, so I had to ask for the school for an extra week off. So I got 3 weeks off, and everyone else got 2, which were a bonus of
that. And a bit of stats to go with it as well, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what was the process of that, Ollie? Did you have to play sort of town stuff, regional stuff, and then that's where the England camp comes from?
No, it was from. So you have under-15s at scholarship. So I were at Wigan.
Yeah.
I think they watched the first years of the scholarship games. Then in the under-16 scholarship, that's when you play your schoolboys in year 11. So you're England. Right. So they think they picked it through the under-15 scholarship period. And then obviously looking at average. Yeah.
Yeah. So when did clubs begin to notice what you had about you, Ollie? Was it at under-14s and 15s, was it, mate?
Yeah. Well, I played a year above all my life. But they were always, I was always a year younger than all my teammates. So I got approached when they were getting signed for scholarship. But I had to let them know, obviously, that I couldn't do it yet because I was too young. Yeah. So I got approached probably a year before people my age because I was playing in the age group where they were getting picked for then, kind of thing. Yeah. So I went looking on like a fair few clubs. But I had 4 of my team was at Wigan already, so I think that made my decision easier to go to Wigan. Obviously, they were one of the best clubs in England, so yeah.
Right. So, what does that do for a kid that's underage but still standing out? What does that do for your confidence? And
I probably didn't even look at it in any way. To be fair, I was just enjoying.
So you're quite laid back, yeah. So. Yeah.
I didn't really look at it in that kind of detail. I think I was obviously happy, but I knew I couldn't go to any club yet anyway, so I knew I just didn't need to keep playing well and just enjoying it. I think I never really looked into that. I've never been like a cocky kind of player. I've always been quite laid back, so it never really did like a difference for me, no.
And you were on scholarship, mate, but going back to your club game, like amateur-wise, from training, scholarship and playing, because you'd have played scholarship games as well, wouldn't you? So you'd have played the St Helens, Warringtons with the... Do you reckon people actually took notice and you had a marker on you maybe a little bit, or...?
I remember making my debut for Wigan, and obviously it's normally like the under-16s that play in the scholarship, because the younger lads always get like a year of training. But I played the first game because I think Wigan put me in because they knew that I'd played against all these lads that were playing anyway already.
Anyway.
So I think that probably gave me a bit of a head start because they knew I played against these lads every week and kind of stood out anyway. So it was I was happy to get kicked into it straight away instead of waiting around kind of for a year.
Yeah, and your combinations are already there, make the game understanding with them all there, isn't it? Or the bulk of it.
Yeah.
So what's the process of signing, mate? Do they have to approach your mum and dad? Do you have to go and have a chat? And
they kind of approach your coach, and then you can go and like train. They do like taster session things where they'll invite kids on a Wednesday night from all over, and then you'll do like, I think it's like 10 weeks, like week on week off, just training like the scholarship do, but you're too young. And then by the end of that, you get like a letter with that which clubs want you, or which clubs have invited you to look round, kind of thing. Then you just choose from what clubs that are interested in you.
Yeah. So, like you said, you'd have took the clever route and looked at a few clubs, would you, mate, and seen what was on offer? Or
Yeah. I trained at a few clubs. Leeds, trained in with Bradford, then trained with Wigan, and I just kind of thought that Wigan were trained with Salford as well. Trained, but I thought Wigan were the best choice for me at that time.
Yeah.
For to make me a better player, kind of thing.
Yeah. So, how does that affect your club game? Do they keep in touch with club coaches and monitor you through that, as well as these midweek sessions and that all?
No, not really. I think it's just it gets more professional in the fact that if you're injured, they'll tell you to play for your club. That's probably the only difference. They'd let you train with your amateur clubs. You can play with your amateur clubs on a Sunday. I think they actually come and watch a lot of your amateur games anyway. And then the amateur game will stop every few weekends, so the scholarship can play on the Saturdays. So you won't be playing. And I think it stops the amateur game for the weekend, so you can play your scholarship games.
And how was you with injuries as a kid? Because would that have done your head in being told you couldn't play?
I actually got in a bit of bother from Wigan. I hurt my quad, and I'd not been supposed to play. And I was getting back to like full fitness kind of thing. The physio just said, "Still don't play." So I went and watched. I just sat on the bench for the first half, and we're getting beat. So I just said, "Nah, I'm going on now." But we were playing Wigan St Jude's, so someone must have known watching that I played for Wigan and said to one of the scouts, "Oh, he ripped up when he come on," kind of thing, and changed the game. And it was the like head physio.
We grasped on you.
Yeah, so just went in on Monday that he said, "Oh, did you enjoy watching on Sunday?" And I just went, I played, don't you? But I felt good when I was playing, so I had to it. So.
Was that an early lesson, mate, or was that just something you shrugged off?
I think I just kind of shrugged it off. I was only young. Like, you just want to be playing. But I wouldn't do anything like that now. Obviously, it gets a little bit professional, but I played well, so that's probably the main thing I was happy about.
Yeah, that helps, mate, doesn't it? So when it comes to the business end of school, is your head on school, or are you fully invested in a rugby league career?
I always probably tried. I tried at school. I'm probably not the brightest of them all. I got my GCSEs. I didn't get any A's or B's, but I got all C's, kind of thing. So I passed.
It's solid, that, Ollie. You said that like it weren't solid.
No, I did some bad ones as well, like RE and stuff like that. I got a few F's and stuff for ones, but I didn't have my head on. But I got my maths, English, and not science. Jeez, no, I didn't get science that way. Yeah. But yeah, I got what I needed to go and do college, if that was an option, kind of thing.
Yeah. And so what was the encouragement through Wigan? Was it education and rugby, or how does that work when you leave school?
You do an education. You either go and do your A levels, or they have a college at Wigan, which I went to the college at Wigan with like half the other lads that had signed academy, and then the clever ones went into A levels.
So, do you know when you sign your academy contract? Once again, it's a different deal, isn't it, mate? So it's a new meeting, a new chat,
Yeah,
more serious progress reports. How did you find that, and how did that work for you? What were them chats like?
yeah. They bring at the end of the year. They bring you in individually and say like, we're offering you an academy contract. We're not offering you one. So
Hmm.
and luckily I got um, offered one. Did they ring your parents up? I think, and I got my dad texted me when I was in maths. So I just said, "Miss, I know I'm not on my phone, but can I go and take this call outside? It's about Wigan." She said, "Yeah." So my dad rang me up and said, "Yeah, they've offered you a academy contract." And I was buzzing. I think it's the same process of Salford. I mean, the process at scholarship where you get a letter to see if any more clubs are interested in you, and Salford come in for me. So I went looking around there, and I think Marwan Kukash took us to the races, and we got like a free day out kind of thing. But they offered me like for my age like a decent amount of money for that age. But I turned it down. Wanted to go Wigan with everyone on kind of the same set wage at Wigan. Like there were
Yeah,
nobody paid. I thought it was still the best thing for me to do to go college and carry on, progressing as a rugby player and go to Salford on money that I didn't really need at that time. I was a young lad, kind of. So yeah,
you made a few big decisions early on, mate, which we'll touch on a few in a bit if that's okay. But that's another big one, really. So you've been offered quite a big deal for a young lad at a
yeah,
club that was on the up at the time. Everyone thought they were going to do great things, didn't they, with this big investment and the buzz about the like go at my club for a bit, wasn't they?
yeah.
So how does a young lad turn that sort of deal down? What was it? Did your
Oh,
dad have a little chat with you? Was you
yeah,
able
yeah.
to just come up with that yourself?
I always knew that it wouldn't have been the right thing. I think my dad gave me some good advice of because he played at Wigan as well, so he kind of knew the club, and he said it's the best club to be at if you want to progress and become a better rugby player. And he said to me, "You don't need the money at that age. The better you get, and the more levels you go up, you'll get the more money in a few years. It's not about the money at the moment. It's about getting, being a better player and progressing as a good person as well."
You do your bit, that sort of thing follows basically, mate, done it?
Yeah, yeah. You
Yeah,
can't be given everything. You got to work hard, go up the levels to get your rewards.
yeah. And with money comes pressure, especially for a young lad like that. So you choose Wigan, mate, and is it under 18s and then what is it, 2021? So there's no reserves, was there, when you've,
When I was there, it's academy first team,
yeah.
so it's
Okay,
like
so there's quite a big jump there, isn't there?
there's 3 years academy. So you've got your under 18. So there's players you could be 18 and you could have players in 21, 22. So it's big.
Yeah.
It's a big. So yeah. So yeah, just academy first team. When I like still, it's kind of still the same now. Really, the reserves is come
Yeah.
back, but not as it's still not serious.
Yeah. That's where the dual reds will still take effect for a bit, won't it, mate?
Yeah, I think they have to take either make be serious about reserves and get everyone playing in reserves, or it's just going to keep academy players playing reserves and then people going out on dual reg. You need to stop the dual reg if they want the reserves to work.
Yeah. It's one or the other to thrive, isn't it? Both can't thrive. Yeah. So are you feeling the difference between, because you're becoming from a boy to a young man at that age group, mate, aren't you? So are you noticing the differences as you go up? Are people giving you a little nudge like after you've passed the ball now and stuff? Or
Yeah, I probably wasn't. I think I realised about being more professional as when my time at Wigan come to an end because when I was in academy at Wigan, I was way too overweight to be playing at that level, and because I got away with it when I was like a chubby boy, I got away with it in scholarship, and I got away with that amateur because I was just like my vision of the game and my skill got me away with it. But when it started to get physical and the game speeds up when you get in better levels, that's when I kind of found out that I needed to like kind of sort myself out. And after my first year in Wigan Academy, I had we had like a pre-season, don't you? But before pre-season, I trained by myself, went on like 5 road runs a week, went back into Wigan, and I was just a changed kind of person. I'd lost like, I think I used to be 94 kilograms when I was in academy, and I weigh 82 kilograms now, so
Right, yeah, quite a lot, mate.
a bit of weight, yeah, which I needed to do, definitely.
I think sometimes though it's them little things that need to happen for you to see it, like you said, because you had that game management and rugby brain quite a bit before everybody else.
Yeah.
When most people have it, then like you said, it's them little 1%ers, mate, isn't it, that make the difference?
Definitely makes a difference.
So whose decision was it to leave Wigan? Was it a mutual thing? Did you feel you needed to, or?
It was kind of a mutual thing because I started my second year and played a few games, and then Matty Pete, the head coach at first team now at Wigan, got me in and said, "We're not going to sign you for your third year, your optional year. So it's up to the club third year." And he said to me, "We're happy for you to stay for the rest of the year. You'll be involved, you'll play, or we've sorted you. We've had Huddersfield on the phone asking about you. You can go to Huddersfield now, play there, and have a crack at getting a first team shot there." And I was just like, it's kind of a no-brainer. I think I need a fresh start, and to get playing, regularly, like being a first choice halfback, because I want first choice at Wigan. So, I don't have anything bad ever to say about Wigan. They made me the player I am probably today. And I've got massive respect for Matty Pete because he didn't have to kind of sort that Huddersfield thing out for me. He could have waited till the end and then told me, and I would have been stuck, but he sorted me out early. So yeah, I have massive respect for him.
Yeah, it's classy, mate, isn't it? So what are them chats like for a young lad? Are they intimidating, or?
To be fair, that's probably the first time I've probably ever been told I wasn't good enough. Because obviously through the best in my school, I've played for England schoolboys. And then that's the first probably realisation where I thought I'm not up to scratch physically, or I'm not good enough at the moment. So I kind of went back again, trained hard, and cracked on with Huddersfield. And it's probably the best thing I've ever done, moving to Huddersfield. It's closer to home. I've got. I think it was the first time I've ever been in part of a team where I didn't know anyone as well. So that's a new thing. That were good for me. But like I said, now I've got all my best mates from Huddersfield, so it's definitely the best thing I've ever done, rugby-wise.
Yeah. So each time your standards have raised. So how big was the gap from club rugby to England 16s? Was there much of a gap there? Because I imagine scholarship to England 16s is pretty similar.
Yeah. The difference when I played England schoolboys to my club rugby, I think it was just the intensity. I think when you pull on that shirt and you're playing for your country, you do the extras, you do the extra mile, your adrenaline's pumped. So, and obviously you're playing with all the best lads in the country, and we're playing France, and they're known for being a little bit dirty, and they weren't wrong. It was definitely a physical. Oh yeah.
And when you're at that level, mate, what is it as an half you look for that you can exploit? Is it a tired third defender? Is it a lazy marker to settle? What is it that you look for at that age that made you stand out as well?
I think back then, I have a massively lot more understanding of the game now, playing Super League. But back then it was just like play what you kind of see. I had no context of the game when it was. I'd do whatever I seen if I seen it. Like looking at now how I play is you can't chip over the top and chase when you've been defending your own goal line for 4 sets and your middles are tired. It's just a constant the game. Now I've obviously by playing so many games, I've understood that kind of the game now. But back then it was just like you play what you see, and you did get away with it back then.
Yeah, so it's basically just tidying your game management up a little bit, mate, isn't it? With experience, like you said.
With good coaches I've had, and the older halfbacks that I've played under so far at Huddersfield, they've taught me them kind of things that no one else will see. But as a game manager, you're the one that have got to see that you've been defending your goal line for 4 sets. You can't go and you've got to get to the other end of the field and probably kick the ball out into touch, give them a rest, and then you kind of go again, kind of thing.
Again, yeah, bring your back three into the game with a few exit scoots and stuff, mate, and orchestrate like that. Yeah. So, how were you in a new environment, mate? And how was it first walking through the doors at Huddersfield?
It was difficult, I won't lie. Not knowing no one, but I think I've been whatever rugby team I've ever been part of. I feel like it's rugby lads are always very easy and bring you in. So by a week, I was comfortable.
Yeah.
And I thought it was going to be. I was obviously nervous because I've never done it before. But after that first session, I was like, I don't know what you were nervous for. Everyone's made you feel welcome. I had to sing a song on my first day, so that was just straight away just
nice icebreaker.
Nice icebreaker. And yeah, I thought it was going to be worse than it were, but everyone brought me in, welcomed me, and so yeah, it was really good.
And when you're there, mate, is it the fact that you're halfway through a year or 3/4 and the games are coming thick and fast? Does that help, or would the pre-season have helped?
Yeah, it was good that we went straight into games, so I didn't have to wait the full pre-season to like show them the respect kind of thing. Like I had a week and I could show them the respect straight away when I played with kind of thing. So I think that were good for me. And I only played like 8 games the back end of the year because that's all that were left.
Yeah.
And then went back into my 3rd year, and I got brought into the office and got told I was going to be captain for the academy that year. So I think I showed what I could do in them 8 games with my team management and the way I spoke well. That I'd never been a captain in my life, but that was massive for me. That I'd only been there half a season, and I was going to be the captain for the 3rd year, which I was really shocked by, to be fair. But it was a really good learning curve for me, like being a captain.
And how did you treat that? Is it about building a relationship with a referee as much as it is with your coach and your players? Did it change your game at all, Ollie?
I just feel like you have to know your players well if you want to be a good captain. Not everyone wants to be bollocked, or I'm not that kind of person anyway to bollock anyone. But I think as a captain, you've got to lead the standards. That's what I think. We had a good little leadership group going on as well, so it wasn't just me on my own. I had a good few lads around me that were going to lead with me, but it was kind of leading the standards in training and talking to different lads in different ways. There were some lads that just didn't want to be told what to do. But if you go and speak to them on their own instead of shouting at them, they'll take it on. Or some players just needed like a bit of a swearing at in a training session, saying, "Come on, lads, get your head on," kind of thing. So it's just about knowing your players.
People need an arm around them, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think in games, obviously, the difference is just having that relationship with the ref.
Yeah.
I think I was just very respectful to him straight away, and it kind of puts you in a good spot with the ref.
you know the 50-50s go your way a bit more, mate, don't you?
Oh, yeah. Oh, you're a really good last game. Stuff like that.
Yeah, there's some bonbons.
Yeah, got some
So
Haribos for you
what?
if you want.
The posh sweets, mate. I'm
Yeah.
just a cheap bonbons, and you're throwing Haribo at him. So when you're in and around that environment, are you training with the first team as well, or do you train separate?
Well, we train separate academy, but first team had a lot of injuries, so then I got drafted in train with them, and then I made my debut halfway through my third year academy. So I wasn't.
And where was that at?
I think we actually did. I think the third year academy players trained the pre-season with the first team that year,
Okay.
and then we went back to academy when the season started, and then I made my debut halfway through that year.
How was your debut, mate? What do you remember about the build-up and who was it?
We played. I think we played Widnes Vikings, and we'd lost 13 in a row. Huddersfield. And there was me and Jake Wardle making our debuts on the same day. And it was at home, and I wasn't even nervous. I'm one of them players that I'll be nervous for every game I play. I was nervous for school games when I didn't have to be, but weirdly, all the big games I've played in my career, like my debut, I wasn't nervous. I was excited to get out there, playing a crowd and for some. Yeah, and yeah, it went well. We won.
Be against Widnes, mate, wasn't it?
Me and Jake got man of the matches because I think he scored two. I set up both his tries. It was just a special day. Everything went well for us, both of us. Yeah. So it was special to do it with someone who I played with every week. And we were defending next to each other, so we kind of got both through it. And yeah, it was a special day. I loved every minute of it.
And is it another noticeable level up, Ollie?
Pardon?
Is it another noticeable level up, that, mate?
Yeah. I'd probably say so, yeah.
Yeah. And when you're in the changing rooms or that, because you're around some seasoned pros, mate, aren't you? What is it that they do that helps you? Is there anyone there to put their arm around you and stuff?
Yeah, they just made me feel very relaxed and comfortable. And my back was Akuma Tai that day, and he just said to me before I go out, "I'm going to protect you all day long. You won't have to make much tackles because I'm going to do your work for you. You just go out and enjoy the day."
Thank you.
And I was like, "Thank you, pal." Yeah, but he did what he said. He did me all day, which made me feel comfortable and just let me play my game.
I say, give you a bit of freedom, mate, on it, knowing you got a bit of an enforcer there. Yeah.
I was never like scared of the physicality because I'd probably sound quite a tough halfback. I don't mind getting stuck in me. I've always been like, so it didn't that won't scare me anyway. But it just took a lot of pressure off me. I didn't have to think about the defending aspect as much. I could just go and lead the team round. As an 18-year-old, it was daunting telling everyone what to do, but it was my role for that day. So
yeah. No, that's it, mate. You've got to be a commander, haven't you? You've got to tell people where you want them and how you want them, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, do you think the club probably seen that and thought maybe academy level is no longer a challenge for you, or you needed to be playing against men, so that's where the dual reg come about?
I actually went back into academy for 2 games, and then I got called up again, and I played. There was only 9 games left, I think, of the season, but I played 5 games that season, which I didn't even think I was going to make my debut that year. So never mind playing 5 games were a massive bonus. It was actually the year after when I'd signed first team. That's when I did some dual reg games. So it wasn't actually the first. I went back into academy, finished that year. Where I actually played. We actually had a really good year in academy that year. I think they'd never got in the top 4, Huddersfield. We got into the top 4 and we got into a semi-final via Wigan. But I think there were me and in his senior. We actually played for the first team against Wigan on the Thursday night on Sky, first ever Sky game, and then on Saturday we doubled up and played for the academy against Wigan, and we got beat because they're a good team. So they're all my ex-teammates who are all playing against. But I think my boss was still tired from the Thursday night game against the first team.
And it was, mate. It's a good effort, that doubling up, innit? Yeah. How is it playing against your old mates like that? Can you just switch off from that for a game and then you're good after it? How do you find that sort of scenario?
Yeah, we have a few close mates still all the pints, and every time we play each other, we get stuck into each other, but we're best of pals when we get off it. It kind of means we kind of have a little laughing game with them, like I'll slap him on the side of the face, some stuff. But no, it don't make a difference. Me playing against my mates, really, it's just you've got a job to do for 80 minutes, and then after it, you can back being best pals.
So what's the crack when like the chats are going with the first team happens? Is it again similar? You get called in individually, and do you want to have a little chat with you? How does that work?
Well, as soon as I made my debut, I got an agent, and that's when the agent said that they're offering you a first team. So it's not kind of a bring in thing. I think the agent sorted all that out for me to team. I think as soon as you have to be on a first team contract. So I got a first straight away because you have to be on a certain amount of money to play Super League. Right.
That's not bad then, mate, is it? I don't think that's well known of, and that's right as well. You shouldn't be on like worse than peanuts when you're playing that level, should you? It's the elite level, isn't it?
As soon as you make your debut, you've got to be on a certain amount of money. So, or as soon as you play Super, you've got to be on a certain amount of money. So that was why I signed a contract till the end of that year. But I think it were the bonuses that were in that contract. They were only till the end of the year. I don't think they expect me to play again. But then when I played them other games, I got so much money for a win. So many games, you get so much money. So yeah, it was a good year for me.
So, not to put you in a bad light to anybody, because I don't think they'll see it that way. But do you know when you've had a taste of that level, is it hard to go back?
It probably was a little bit, but I expected it because I was playing for Danny Brough, and I knew Danny Brough's ban were going to be over, so I kind of expected it. Even though me and Jake got man at match and we play well with Earnt, we knew we was going to drop back down. But I was just grateful for the experience, and it made me want more. So it made me go back to academy and play even better and stand out even more. So I get the opportunity to go again, kind of thing. Yeah, I knew I was going to go back into the academy. It didn't shock me, but it just made me want it again, kind of thing. Yeah.
So after that next pre-season, mate, when you're part of the first team squad, how do them dual reg chats come around? And is it? I ask everyone this, mate. So is it a bit of a kick in the face, or do you see it as a potential to grow as a player and to learn your craft against men now?
Yeah, it's. I think I asked for one of them. I was sick of sitting around not playing. I just wanted to go and play. So, and then I think I played 2 games for Batley, and they were both against. There was Toronto Wolfpack, who were pretty much Super League side, and we played Toulouse, which best teams in Champs on that. That was pretty. But it's just bad going into like a Championship club, and they had like 3 halfbacks, and obviously I've come in, and I've just took those spots straight away. So you feel bad in that aspect of going in, and it is unfair. Like they're training every week. That's why I don't agree with the dual reg kind of thing. So we should have a strong reserve. So, and then I think I played 1 game at Workington. It was Chris Stallman who gave me my debut for Huddersfield. He coached Workington, and let him round. He said, "You fancy us coming up for a game?" And I was like, "Well, yeah, why not?" They were playing Newcastle Thunder, and they were another good side, so it's still decent level. And then I played 1 game for Halifax, And that was the same. I was sat around and just gone up and said, I need a game. Can you sort me a game out? And then Halifax asked about me and said, can we have him for a few weeks? And I went, played one game, and I got called back straight to the first team to play the week after. So that fell short.
Yeah. And do you know when you're going in them environments, Ollie, how are the lads that you're taking their spots with you? Because I know it's rugby, and I know it's a welcoming environment, mate, isn't it? The banter's good, the camaraderie is good, everything's great about rugby, but it must still be a bit touchy.
Yeah, no, to be fair, they've all been sound with me, the ones that they've actually been telling me the moves that they've got and stuff like that. So they've always been like really good with me. And I actually travelled up with one of the lads because he was from Oldham, and he was the one that were getting dropped. And he was sound as out, and I think they just know it's what happens these days. I think they've kind of realised that it's the normality, which it shouldn't be. We shouldn't be going taking their spots because it's
not personal, is it?
No, it's not. He knew it wasn't personally. I think I think all them players probably have more to think about the coach. It's the coach's problem. It's not like it's nothing to do with me, which they all understood.
Yeah. So when you go back, mate, you take the lessons you've learned with you, and then is it about getting back into the groove at that level, or are you straight back in and you're just doing what Ollie does?
Yeah, it's probably about just doing the simple things right. In when you're on dual reg, just making your kicking game good, making your tackling good, because it's physical. It's a physical league, the Championship, and not knowing all the moves and stuff. I don't want to be going out trying to do everything I can possibly do and show them everything. It's about getting me a game and just ticking over, being ready at a level ready to, if I'm called back to the first team, to play. I won't ever going out wanting to do everything, do 5 assists, something like the best on the pitch, because I didn't move that well and the calls that well. I just wanted to kind of kick well, defend well, which my coach wanted me to do. He didn't want me to. So yeah, it was kind of a process kind of thing playing in them games.
So we didn't get the chip and chase from your own 20, mate, no?
No. Oh, Matt. No, I didn't.
So, talk to us about going back to Huddersfield then, because you've gone back and, mate, you've sort of like just shot to the top of your game, haven't you? And you've held your own. You've been really consistent. You're getting picked when you're fit. We'll talk about a little thing that Will told me about when you were a bit of a doubt for Wembley and that, mate. And Will speaks very highly of you. He's got a lot of time for you, and he's a good mate, aren't you? So how is it when you're around people like that in similar positions and you can get on as well as you do?
Oh no, it's class. It's me and Pricey are really close mates off the field, and it's just good having lads around you that you like. And if someone says to you, you can go to work every day with your best mates and play rugby, it's not a better job for me anywhere. So yeah, I think going back to rugby is getting my groove and starting to play every week. That's probably the last year was the first year that I've probably done that, has played consistently every game that I could play, in being fit. So it's that, I think last year I learnt the most I've ever learned, because I was playing every week. I was learning on the run and getting more confident, which I've probably just been waiting for. I've just been waiting for that opportunity to do that. So yeah, I absolutely loved it. And then to the Challenge Cup final, I'd not had an injury all year. Then the week before, I twinged my hamstring a little bit. I had to go for a scan on the Monday morning, and I didn't have the results till the Tuesday. I'm obviously playing on the Saturday, so that I didn't sleep for that night. I was just thinking the worst. And I got the scan results back, and it was a grade 1B. So the physio said you can rehab that just about in time if you do everything right. So we have like an ice machine up this field now, just icing my hamstring for 20 minutes of every hour of every day up to the final. yeah, and then obviously Price is in my room, and he could be playing for me. And but to be fair, we didn't really kind of talk about it. It was a if I ran on Team Run Day and I wasn't confident in my hamstring, I would have pulled out of that game because I wouldn't have
I fully
liked.
believe that, mate. Just speaking to you, yeah.
I wouldn't have wanted to, for one, play 15, 20 minutes selfishly just because I wanted to be part of that occasion. To them us losing halfback spot round, and then also to take the opportunity away from Pricey. I know he's been banned for 10 games, but I know he would have shone in that arena because he's that kind of player. But I felt like I deserved the shot because I've been playing all year. I've been playing well and I was probably in form. But if I wasn't 100% fit, and I would have pulled out and Pricey would have played. But we didn't really talk about it through the week, me and Pricey. We were just getting on. Like, he said to me, Russ, I want you to play. If you're fit, you play. But just know I'm ready, and I'm going to buzz the boys up in that changing room to be ready for the game. And we was like absolutely pelting them, and we were just back to me and Pricey just being little shits with everyone, taking Pricey, and it was class, yeah.
So it's a shame, really, innit, mate? Because I've no doubt you'll get another opportunity on them big stages, mate. I don't doubt it at all. But for your first one, your week won't have been like you'd have imagined, will it? Because you were rehabbing and because you were a bit on edge with it.
Yeah, that's probably the most disappointing thing about it. Obviously, the loss was heartbreaking, but because we were so close, we were 2 or 3 minutes off lifting the Challenge Cup, and then we learned a lot of lessons, and I'm glad he experienced a big game like that. So when next time we go in one, hopefully we get to one that I've experienced that kind of playing in that amount of people and the whole day and the whole week that comes with it. And I don't feel like I experienced the week as much because I wasn't playing at one point. I was 50-50 at one point. I was not training with the lads all week and then just to do a team run. But I think what all kind of had that confidence in me that if I was fully fit, because I'd listened to so much and watched so much video through the week, I knew I could go and execute the plan that we had if I was fit. Yeah. So then the team run, I felt like I was full on getting up to 90% sprints, so I wasn't getting any feeling from it. But so yeah, I was confident. I had a bit of a strapping thing on it through the game, but I think the only thing that I couldn't actually do was goal kick that day, which is probably the big parts of my game. And I know we lost the final on goal kicking, and it's not down to two of that. It's just everyone has a bad day. I think
it is, yeah.
The way it is. I think after we'd lost, we were in the press room and I was getting interviewed, and it's all the people in the press were asking me the same question about Tui's kicking. And I was just like, what's you asking me that now? What's that going to do? Like, they were saying if you kick one, I was like, well, I could have missed every kick as well. It's happened now.
You could have pinned Miami again as well, couldn't you?
Yeah, it's because I'm left-footed, but with my right hamstring, so I would have been putting all the pressure when I planted to kick on that.
Your right foot, yeah.
Said it'd be better in not doing it because that hamstring could go at any time with him putting that amount of pressure on it. So it's what it is.
When you're getting at stuff like that, mate, it must be tricky to not use your media handbook. Do you know what I mean? Must be tricky not to go. How do you think it feels? Like you can't, can you? And I know you want to. It must be hard to just go. Oh, it's just one of them things. And
but it was when I was going down the line and each person was asking me the same question. I think my answers just got a little bit shorter and shorter, and then we went up to the top bar, and I think I had a few pints in it. John, that's so awesome.
So what are the big standout moments for you then, mate? Other than that,
probably I think the standout. So I played for the England Knights this season. I think that 2 weeks that we had in camp, when we played France and Scotland. That probably as well as the Challenge Cup and as well as all last season. I had so many the Ellen Road semi-final. That was a great day. We had the fans there. Obviously, we won that to get to the final, so we knew we was going to the Challenge Cup final. That was a great experience. And then playing for my country again. There's nothing better than playing in that England shirt for me and singing that national anthem with the bunch of lads we had. That camp. I've never been part of a team that everyone got on so much and so well in a short space of time. And you just wanted to do that extra in the game for the lads around you. It was a really good 2 weeks and one I'll probably cherish forever.
And when it comes to goal kicking, mate, what is it about that battle that you thrive so much in and you enjoy? Is it because it is just a personal battle? You can take it away from the game a little bit, or is it just something you've always enjoyed doing?
I think you'll be shocked by this, but I don't actually enjoy goal kicking that much.
You're just good at it.
I've just always been good at it.
Yeah.
And I used to enjoy it when I was little, when you go and practice on your own. But I think when I started playing Super League, it used to affect me missing, and then I'd bring it into my game, and it'd play on my mind, which it shouldn't do. But you're kind of like perfectionist, you want to be. Then it will affect. So I kind of always used to like, I'd maybe in a few years or maybe next year, I might have matured a little bit, but I'd let someone else kick. Like Price is a good kicker. I'd let him kick, so I could just concentrate on getting the team around the field. But it's probably something that I used to go kicking with George Ford, the England.
Yeah.
So his dad and his dad used to play together. So I used to go kicking with his younger brother Jacob and George when I was younger on the training field near me. So I just used to every week went for about a year. I think that's where I got a lot of my kind of technique from, because like you want to watch us Super League goal kickers kick, and then you want to go and watch George Ford England fly half kick, because they don't miss, and it just looks the same every time. Like, because it's a massive part of the rugby union, in it. So they probably take a lot of time in their kicking. With rugby league kickers, you have a few kicks at the end of a session, or you'll do it day off, but you don't do it every day. And so yeah.
Teams are kicking more penalties now, aren't they? Like, it weren't like when I was growing up. I forget I'm like 10 years older than you nearly, but when I was growing up, didn't really take to. So like they just put it in touch, build pressure like that. Didn't necessarily build pressure on the scoreboard. They just build it through possession integrity.
Yeah.
Where now a lot more teams are taking that, aren't they?
Yeah, it's massive. Probably at the start of the year with the bad weather, you can knock two over, and it just keeps putting pressure on teams. And then then through this season, it's normally at the end of the year again. It comes up to your goal kicking where you
business end. Yeah.
Yeah, there's 2 points in a game and stuff like that. So yeah, goal kicking is massive now, especially definitely in rugby league. Obviously, rugby union is probably the main part, but rugby league now it's getting even bigger, because them 2 points, they add up and they can make a difference.
And so if you could change one thing, it would probably being able to have the ability to take a miss non-personal, not let it disrupt your game, not let it get to you. You could just leave it where it is and come away from it.
Yeah. Well, I think I probably got a little bit of stick online once, and it was this year, and honestly I kicked well last year, and we played Leeds at Edinburgh, and it was on Sky, and I pretty much lost his game, like, because of my goal kicking. I couldn't kick for that night. I don't know what happened, and I got a load of stick online, and I didn't really look at it, but it come from obviously other fans, but it come from Huddersfield fans as well, and it kind of got to me because all year I've kicked well, and some of them have praised me. They don't get a lot of praise from them, but some of them, like, a lot of them have praised me, like. But then for one game, I'm now a really bad goal kicker, and I think I just had enough and thought I'm not doing this anymore to get that. But now I think I've matured, and I know I'm a good goal kicker, so I probably will get back to it. But it's like I said, I don't really enjoy it being personal. It's just me kicking. I'm just pretty good at it. That's why I've always done it, kind of thing.
So do you lads actually look at stuff like that online, do you?
No,
Sometimes you can't avoid it, Ollie, can you? Do you know what I mean? It's everywhere, isn't it?
like I'm on Instagram, on Twitter, so sometimes I don't go out and look for it. I used to when I was younger, and I just started playing for sim because people are speaking about it, and I'm not used to it, but I don't really look into that side of it anymore. I think a lot of people have a lot of new opinions, and does their opinion matter to me? It don't really, because that lady or that man who's criticising me isn't picking me on a Sunday afternoon or a Friday night. It's Ian Watson. So as long as my have the faith in me and my coach, then so them have them opinions of me. It's one of
it's a shock that it's not something you necessarily enjoy, considering, like you said, how good and consistent you are at it. It's just mad how certain players see certain aspects of the game, isn't it? And what sort of relationship you have with it. That's all, mate. So guiding a team around, which we've spoke about a few times, is it difficult to get to grips with as you get older? Is it something that you're always learning about, Ollie?
what the game in general.
Yeah, so being able to guide a team around, because it's a phrase that it's so broad, mate, isn't it? People don't understand the term really.
I probably learned some. You learn something every season, like a handful of things, just little. Especially with Ian Watson and Luke Robinson, they've both been standoff scrum halves in their career, and they've taught me so much. But it's just minor details. For example, when you're on the goal line and you're attacking, and a lot of people stand on the 10 metres, won't they? To receive the ball, but there's enough time for the defence to fly up and get you. So if you just take a few, 2 or 3 steps back, you've got a 9 that can hit you quick. The amount more time and more things you see just by taking them few steps back is just massive, honestly massive. So it's just...
They'll be static and slide, won't they? They won't have the line speed on your flatter, will they?
And the ball's got to me, they won't have enough time to come out from in to fly at me. I have enough time, if they're going to do that, I have enough time to catch and pass, and we'll have an overlap kind of thing. So just little details like that. And obviously by managing the game, like I think Luke Robinson did a lot of that with me, with knowing your players. If you've just defended your line, you don't go and do a massive play. It has to be a simple set so your middles get a bit of a rest. Just stuff like that, and knowing the game better. I think I'm starting to get the game now of building into games, completing your first 5 sets, getting into a bit of a rhythm. Or if I think last year definitely we learnt a lesson of like people jamming us, from outside, like centres, and how to play against teams that are jamming you, or how to play against teams that are backing off and sliding. These ways to get round both of them, but it's about adapting on the run. We might do a video review of a team all week, and they might be jamming, the team the week before. And then you go into the game and they're not jamming. But instead of playing that same way we've been training all week, you've got to adapt to it and say, no, we're doing this now. That's not working. So it's about adapting on the run. That this year I'm therefore going to put my head down to being better at. I think a few games last year we just kept playing the same play when it was getting jammed and jammed and jammed. When we could have just changed the play a little bit and it would have stopped them jamming. So I think that's a massive focus for me this year, is to adapt on the run for the team.
Keep defensive honest, mate, isn't it? And
yeah.
Right, so you have signed well this year, mate. I mean, I've no doubt there'll be, if you're in already, feeling it, a lot of hype about you lads for the business end of the year and stuff. And I know there's a lot to happen between now and then. But what are the ambitions this year for you collectively, and maybe a few individual goals that you might have set?
I think collectively, I think we've put that. Well, we finished third in the Super League last year. I think anything less than that again will be a failure from the team we have on paper. I know it means nothing, but training really well at the moment. So I think we want to be getting for either first, second, or third again. Anything less, it's a failure from last year. I think we want to win a major trophy as a group. That's something that we're all hungry for. We want to get back to a big final. And me as a person, I want to play as many games as I did last year. And I know there's a lot of competition this year, but I think it's good competition for everyone. I think you can't play bad because you know you've got someone waiting in that seat watching you that's going to be chomping at the bit to play.
Yeah.
And then enjoy it again. I really enjoyed playing last year and just keep at it. But I think last year I'd never played that many games in a season. It started to get a bit mentally tougher because you've got to turn up every single week and perform at it. So I think the consistency for me, that's a goal for me this year, is to be a 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10 every week and don't dip down and have a 4 out of 10 game. Just to be consistent.
Yeah. It's fair enough, mate. And I know I touched on it before we started recording and that, but St Anne's, you're down there helping them out, mate. And how is it going back to your club and giving back, mate? How have you found that?
I've always kind of gone back to St Anne's and because one of my best mates has always played it first team, and I went watched them last year, and the coach has just come up to me and said, "Do you mind helping out?" And I just thought, we finished training at 1 o'clock when we're in season, and I don't have much to do than go for a coffee with lads, or it just gives me something else to concentrate on out of Huddersfield rugby, to take my mind off it and have a focus. And I've so far we've started in December, and I've been honestly, mate, really enjoying it. Just giving little tips and to the lads, and they've all took me in really, listened to me really well. Because at first I was a bit daunted by I'm 24-year-old, and I'm going to go and tell a 31-year-old man how to play rugby. How's he going to take it, kind of thing. All been respectful and are willing to listen. And I just went in and said, I'm not an expert, but I might have a few little things that I've learned through my career so far that will help you. So yeah, it's been really enjoyable. It's something that I'm probably doing it for the reason to see if I want to be a coach when I retire. I think this is quite a taster of if I like it or not, or if it's for me. So yeah.
Right, mate. So just a few daft questions for you, if that's all right, mate. So, any pre-match superstitions?
Pre-match superstitions? I have to have a pasta dish the night before. And I have to have scrambled egg on toast with a coffee in the morning. When I actually get in the change room, I don't really have any superstitions by putting one boot on first, any of that. I'm normally quite have a laugh in change room. Me, that's probably one of my superstitions. Just having a laugh with there's like a corner. It's like the piss about corner, if you like to call it that. Different people like to prepare in different ways. A lot of them had headphones on, proper serious, and then there's a few of us that just like to have a bit of a laugh. That's how I feel like I get most ready for games. And then when we go out to warm up, it's heads on kind of thing. But yeah, having a laugh. And I always have 2 caffeine tablets before the warm up, and then 2 at half time. That's why I can't sleep after a game ever.
Right, no, that's understandable, mate. Isn't it? Buzzing. So this phrase I'm going to hit you with now is different for everybody, mate. The definition of the word. So, toughest player you've played with and against?
Like the toughest player probably played with, I'd probably say Ricky Latelli. or I'd probably say Rick telling me because I played a lot of games with him last year, and he's just tough, just hard hitting, mentally tough, could chill you out, and just he kind of ticks a lot of boxes of what people think tough is. There's a lot of different meaning, and then probably against, it'd have to be someone from St Helens like James Roby or Tommy Makinson. I'd probably say Johnny Lomax. Johnny Lomax is tough because he's tough because he knows the game so well. He'll adapt to, like I've just been saying, and put a little kick through and they'll score. I think probably I'd probably say Johnny Lomax is the toughest player I've played against because he's got it all in the tough areas, if you know what I mean. He's a tough defender, but he's like he knows the game so well. He's tough on you in that aspect as well because you can't clock off.
Yeah, his game reads are on point, aren't they? So he's tough to defend against, tough to attack at. Yeah. Right, mate. So, your favourite away ground?
Probably say I used to be a Leeds Rhinos fan, so it's got to be Headingley. But I do really like Castleford's ground as well. It's just small, get a lot of stick. It's just old-fashioned, funny.
Yeah. So, what would you tell a younger you from back in the day, from what you've learned so far?
Probably say, to a younger me, I'd probably say, don't stop eating chicken dippers. No, chubby. Nah. Probably say, make it click quicker, that you could make a career out of it, and don't let it get too late. You know, be more professional as a youngster, and be confident and back your ability.
So you're out with the lads, mate. You've had a few. The mic's in your hand. What are you going to give us?
Well, I did a bit of Ed Sheeran in Ibiza. And I've also done a bit of Take That in Benidorm, so have to be something from them, yeah.
Will you blast it out, or will you give us a bit of a shuffle and a click?
Oh no, we're full on mic in and in Benidorm, yeah. We're giving it one.
Stop, man. So if you don't mind, mate, and if you do, I understand because you're still in the height of your career. But a 1 to 13 that you've played with.
Yeah. Fullback, I'd probably go Tuilola here.
Yeah.
Wingers would have to be Jermaine McGilvray.
Yeah.
And I think I'd have to go with either Dom Young or Tom Davis from Cattle and Dragons. I played with him at Wigan and he's very good.
Yeah.
Centres, I'd probably go Ricky Latelli.
Yeah.
It's hard to pick between Jake Wardle and Leroy Cudjoe because Jake Wardle's potential could be one of the best centres in the world. And Leroy's just the ultimate professional. Taught me a lot in my career. And he's done everything on it, so it's quite hard to pick between. My standoff would probably be Lee Gaskell.
Yeah.
Most gifted, talented player I've probably played with, other than Tui, but just didn't like training and did just most unprofessional, best player I've ever played with, Lee Gaskell. He loved to piss about.
I've always wondered why you get no disrespect to him, he gets moved about a little bit.
Yeah, it's probably because
you can clearly see he's got it, Ollie.
Not the most serious player, but he's one. Yeah. My scrum halves would probably be either Tio, who I'm playing with now, or Aidan Seas, because he taught me a lot of Seas when he was with us. Prop would probably be Chris Hill and either Matty English or Ollie Partington. Played with them both. Different kind of props, but my hooker would probably be Cruz Lehman. Clever on the ruck. My back rower would probably be Chris McQueen and Akuma Tai, and my loose got to be Luke Yates. Then I'd love to put Pricey and Ash Golding on the bench somehow, because they could both be come on and play anywhere. Because Pricey's pretty special talent, and Ash can come on and literally play anywhere on the field. So